Interesting things to say. I'll let you guys take a quick listen.
50 million. I get 26.6 guaranteed. My first year in the league, I make 12.6 million. I get a $12 million signing bonus.
That's crazy.
I touched them motherfuckers for $7 million, right off the rip. I think I signed for 50 million. Like me, everybody here is like, Joe signed for $50 million. He got $50 million. Man, it goes to the point where like now it is what it is. I'm telling you, we didn't have bread, so mom and dad, boom, $3 million after taxes, cash. What y'all need, mom and dad? I gave mom and dad $3 million.
Ooh, that's a flex right there.
Yeah, to give mom and dad $3 million after taxes, basically $6 million.
That's the problem.
$3 million. Boom, y'all
Trying to flex.
Then bought my mom and dad $1 million house.
Hold on. So you gave him $3 million and bought him the house.
Bought him the house.
Oh, you a real one.
Oh yeah. The house was $1 million. So now basically that's giving mom and dad $3 million cash, $5 million. Me and my little brothers, and obviously little bros need whips. Buy all my little bros.
So look, he goes on for a while, but I'll essentially summarize. He mentioned the $3 million to his parents. Then he bought them $1 million house. Right away, $5 million of his money was gone. He brought his brother's cars, bought himself a penthouse, got a Range Rover and a Bentley GT. And then he said, people hear $50 million and they think you have $50 million sitting in the bank. That's not how it works. You look up after all that and realize that you might only have around $1 million left. You start understanding real quick that a $50 million contract is not actually $50 million. That's why people go broke. Twitter has been tearing this to shreds today. We also had this tweet from a Sneaker podcast who said, I'm tired of athletes talking about why athletes aren't really as rich as we think. You touched $7 million and bought your parents a $3 million house. You're dumb. Actually, $3 million and then $1 million house, which is a little crazy. Fellas, do you guys think athletes are dumb with their money? Because this has just been
Before they get into it, I'm gonna say I've always thought athletes are dumb with their money. It's athletes get psyched into this idea that they get a fat contract and they have to like blow it all. They have to buy a big mansion. You know, you get a $50 million contract. You don't need to buy a mansion for $7 million, $10 million. All you're doing is enriching the real estate agent and the property managers or whoever owns the home. It's like it's a whole ecosystem. You know, your agent's getting a piece, the real estate agent's getting a piece. A lot of times those big homes come with like they're like estates, and they come with a staff that you have to pay for. It's like instead of just buying a nice house, I mean, some of the money they spend on these big mansions, they could have built their own neighborhood and let that neighborhood flourish and gain more value and watch their money grow. But they don't do that. Instead, they rather spend a bunch of money going into an already established neighborhood that's costly. I mean, yeah, it's good on the people that live there because you're keeping the valuation up. But I mean, why not grow somewhere else and get a better rate of return on your money?
trending topic of conversation online today about how athletes kind of handle and manage these things.
Let me throw Shady to Oop, because obviously Shady's the expert in here on this. All right, look, Prize Picks is a sounds stupid.
What does that mean?
Like Shady makes big money.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Shady made big money.
Not calling him dumb. Athletes are dumb with his money. Shady's the come on, man. Shady's smart.
This sounds dumb as hell. But unless you can put yourself in the athlete's position, and this truly is one of those situations where, like, you got to put yourself in a position of somebody who has money to know what you would do when you have it, and know what people would do when you have it. Money don't really change people. Money changes the people around you. When I used to go to dinner with my family, right?
Okay, I'll say money doesn't change people, but it does bring out a person's personality, because now they have more money to express themselves with monetary, objects and gifts and whatnot. They can, they can express their hobbies and whatnot.
When I didn't have bread like that, nobody's looking at me to pay. and I'm not looking at me to pay. When I go to my family, like, Dad, you got your PhD.
You the dad.
You the doctor, and you the dad. You pay. There's come a point in time now where, no, my dad isn't even asking me to pay, Nigerian man, but there comes a point in time where I'm like, of course I'm going to pay.
Yeah.
I both have the money to pay, and Dad, you 60, 70 some odd years old, like, it's now my turn.
Yeah.
Let me treat you. But you don't realize how fast those dinners of 8, 10, 12, 16 people, when you count your siblings, their spouses, their children, and your parents, start to add up. So now you go to church. You go to lunch after church. Might be Pappadeaux. Shout out to Texas. You go to lunch after church. You know, because you know what I'm talking about.
Good, yeah.
It might be like somewhere, you know what I mean?
Messy.
You go somewhere after church, go to lunch with your family, and that hits you for $700.
That's
It's
a lot
not
of
like you was
Agusi and
stunting,
fufu. Yeah.
not like you was flaunting, not like you was flexing. That hits you for some amount of money. Your parents buy you your first car when you go to college. What the hell you think you finna get for them after you make it? You know what I mean? Like, of course I am going to pay back. My parents would have done anything for me to make it.
As you
So
should.
you might say, well, why the hell you buying them a $3 million X, Y, and Z? They're your parents, bro. They would die for you.
I wouldn't do
I
the
think
$3
it
million,
sounds
but
stupid on the outside, but obviously before we hear from Shady, who has been in the situations of making that kind of money, especially while playing ball, like, I just want to add a little bit of nuanced take to it. But Shady, you know, Joe, I know
that was
Joe other
perfect
things.
though. No, I agree with you. You know, I had this one of my good teammates, right, Brent Selleck. We had the same financial advisor, and one time we had like a group therapy type session, and guys were talking about the stuff they spend, you know, things they spend and waste money on. And I learned, like, damn, no matter what race you are, everybody has habits and everybody likes what they like. So I think he spent money on like boats and like lake house with all this stuff. And our group was like, we spent money on some chains and some watches, and I got my mom this and my mom that. And what was interesting about the story was everybody had stuff that they bought that they liked and they wanted. Mine was maybe cars and some jewelry and whatever. Selleck's was a lake house with some boats. They want to fish, but he never said nothing about his parents. And I'm thinking, like, I get it, because certain races, they hustle for the future, where blacks, we hustle for the past. Like, we get on, and now I gotta make sure, okay, gotta get my mom and dad out the hood. Okay, dang, gotta get my mom and dad a new house or new car. Okay, boom, I gotta get my grandma a new house. Where other races that they don't do that, right? They, you know what I'm saying? Their mom already got a crib, right? The dad already got a house. I watched the baseball player, damn man, from for the Angels from Philadelphia, or he's from Jersey.
Mike Trout.
Mike Trout, my guy, Mike Trout. He said his parents had to kick him out. Like, yo, you can't live here no more, dog. But the house was so nice that he could live there.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, people make jokes about athletes going broke and this, that, and the third. And I know Joe. Joe got a lot of money. He was talking about his first contract. Y'all ain't really hear him. He got a lot more than that.
Yeah, no,
but
of course.
if you know his background, his dad trained all his brothers.
Yep.
They all trained him. I'm not sure what the mom did, but it was a close family that played sports. And there's no financial literacy in the house. There's not. So when I make all this money, I gotta listen to this financial advisor, because nobody in the house knows anything about money.
Yeah.
You said something about when you made it, how now you just look forward to paying. My mom and dad wasn't like no bums at all. You know what I'm saying? They weren't rich, but they wasn't just poor. But it's like when the car's messed up, you'll figure it out. I remember my mom would keep a water jug, so when the car overheats, she would, you know what I mean, spray on it. So I was like, okay, cool. We found ways to get around it, but now we got money. We're not even doing that no more. Or the local hood mechanic fix everybody's. We're not going to him no more. Now we're going to Mercedes-Benz to get it fixed. I think about like taking your family out to eat. After an event, one of the nephews or grandkids, they graduate. We all go out to eat. I'm going to pay for it. It's my family.
Yeah.
So it's sometimes like people don't want to understand it. And then we young. We going to make our own mistakes.
True. That's a
Have
good
an extra car we shouldn't have. Extra jewelry we shouldn't have. So like, I don't really have these conversations with people.
okay, it's one thing to make a mistake by having like an extra car when you've got a multi-million-dollar contract, but it's a stupid mistake to blow half your contract on a house. I mean, on a mansion, not a house. But you can buy a decked out home, but a lot of these guys, it's like you get a $50 million contract. Why are you spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on chains and stuff? It's like the first thing you need to understand is assets. Now, it made sense maybe in the past when athletes barely started to get money, but when you've had decades of athletes just going broke, it's like, how do you keep doing the same thing? It's no excuse to talk about like different races, how they spend money or whatever. It's like, that's not an excuse, man. You've seen athletes in the past do the same thing, make the same mistakes. It's like, you should be trying to buy a lake house, buy some assets that appreciate. A lake house, it has value, just buying a car. I mean, that's one of the first things they tell you about, when it comes to finances, is that cars depreciate like as soon as you drive them off the lot, unless it's a classic.
That they're not millionaires because y'all won't understand. And another thing about athletes compared to regular people that make millions is
See, I disagree with that. See, Shady's trying to make it seem like, like, oh, if you're not a millionaire, then you can't understand. If you understand finance or how to work with your money or, or live with money and live within your means, it doesn't matter how much money you have, you'll always understand finances. It's like, it's no different than a person having a $500 credit card and a person having a $20,000 credit card. It's like, you learn how to budget. Um, a person knows what they can afford when it comes to a home. So it's no different with you getting more money. It's like, yeah, you may be able to afford a bigger home, but it's just there's ways to be smart. You don't need 50 bedrooms, It's like just like people when they start a family, they need extra space because they want more kids. So if they want 2, 3, 4 kids, they try to have enough space so the kids can grow and flourish. But some of these athletes, I mean, I don't understand why they feel the need to buy a 20-bedroom home or something like that when it's just like them and they're not even married. It's like, okay, you move your family into, I mean, if you have future plans of like, this is going to be a multi-family home, you want to move your whole family into it, I get it. But it's like, at least have a plan. But I still think they would be better off if they just build a neighborhood, get a greater rate of return on your money by hiring a contractor, buy some land, hire a contractor, do some bidding, with the city or something, build a neighborhood. It's like when you look at industrialists in the past, there's a reason why you have like Rockefeller Plaza and stuff like that, like in New York and stuff. These people built things, it's like build a building, build a neighborhood, and let the neighborhood be known at, like you built the neighborhood, your money will grow even more. The problem with a lot of these athletes is they get a fat check and they just blow the money.
most people that make millions of dollars for their career, they go to school for a nice period of long time. Okay, then they go to more school, right? They grow their wealth. It takes time to do it. Kids are coming from high school that's never had a job, then now you're making millions of dollars at 20 years old. You know why I know? I'm one of them. Yeah. I've never had a job. I don't know about tax. I don't know none of that. Then I get to the pros. I get a 1.6 or 3 signing bonus. I got like 800,000. I was like, yo, where my money at? So what I'm saying is like, you don't learn these type of things, and then the people that you look for, like my parents, where I ask them about everything. My mom, they look at me like, boy, I don't got no millions. I don't know. Yeah. So when you ask these questions, y'all try to make a mockery of it. Just understand, if you was in this kid's shoes, bro, like, what would you be doing? Yeah. Because now all my
using my money wisely. It's like, oh, your mom doesn't know what to say because she hasn't had millions. That makes no sense. That makes no sense. It's like, well, I mean, some people. I was gonna say like, if you had $500, would you spend $400 on a pair of shoes? Now, you find some people that will. You know, I've seen people, they'll spend their whole check or something coming up to buy a purse or a Gucci belt or something. You know, but that's because they're trying to live flashy. But it's like, just even living within your means, it's like, live modestly, live humbly. It's like there's ways that you can have a wealthy, fulfilled life with even a small amount of money. If you know people who do it with like a basic salary. It's like, so now you have millions of dollars. Why are you making it seem like life is more difficult? It's like, if anything, life should become easier. I mean, just follow the people like Shady was saying, how some of the athletes, oh, he's buying a boat, he's buying a lake house. It's like, okay, why not see, okay, why is he doing that? Or venture off into some other activities.
Friends are hanging around with before we splitting gas. Yo, you trying to go? Yo, the girls you on a little date. All right, cool. I got Ashley. You got Yolanda. You got her. We back.
Yeah.
All right, give me $20. Give you $20. We got some gas. We got some food. Now it's like, dude, y'all all come. They all come. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
$5,000 is nothing to me for real.
Yeah.
But when you keep doing 5 and 5,000,
Yeah.
it adds up.
Yeah.
So you know,
Shady
I ain't
cooking.
mad at Joe.
Yeah, I really agree with Shady on this though too, and I think it's the realization that athletes, especially in this type of situation, have never had a job before. If you guys were Trey, do you remember the first time you ever got a check? Maybe you were working a job as a teenager. Because I remember the first time I did.
I do.
I was working at Topgolf. I got a $360 check. What do you think the first thing I did with that check
Food.
was?
Definitely went and bought some food.
But I bought food too though. My checks.
And not even like, and you didn't even leave.
No, man.
No,
You didn't even leave the
I
premise.
can't do shit.
You didn't even leave the premise. You
I
turned
could
right
eat
back
for free
around
at
at
work. It
Top
was-
Golf and spent your money on the food at Top
Bro,
Golf.
we were having a moment.
Bro, I was
serious though.
I went-
I spent money on food too.
I did spend a lot of money on food. Yes.
We know.
But
We can still tell.
right, man.
All right, I'm done.
All right,
I'm sorry.
The first thing I went and spent my money on, bro, I went to Foot Locker. Yes.
Yeah, I knew
I
it.
went to
Yeah.
Foot Locker and I bought a $180 pair of shoes, bro.
Man, that's half the joint.
Bro,
Half the check, bro.
180, bro, half of the check immediately. I'm 17 years old. I don't know shit about making money. This is the first time I've seen $300 hit my bank account in my entire life. Imagine having that feeling with
Times
Yeah,
1,000.
top $7 million in your
Right,
bank account
right.
at 21 years old. The first time you've ever gotten anything. You're now looking at the prices of things. You don't know the market. You don't know what it should cost. And guess what? At 21 years old, you're not gonna have the patience to wait and see what the market is, or not gonna have the patience to do it. So my thing is, yes, he's explaining this from like the way he experienced it. Of course, it sounds dumb to the common person that's saying after they've worked 10 years, yo, like how could you be this stupid with this amount of money? If I had that amount of money, I'd never have to work again. Yada yada yada. I've been in a situation where I've had nothing, negatives in my bank account. I've been in a situation where I've had 6 figures in my bank account. Two completely different mindsets, two completely different things. I have had times where I had 5 figures in my bank account, I had no idea how to spend it, and I blew it. And it takes that learning process because as an adult, you just have to kind of go through that.
When did you start making your real money?
I probably say 23 years old was when I started making actual like money. Yeah.
What is that? Like,
So yeah, about 4 or 5 years ago.
no. I know. I was saying like, what's real money? Because I know what you make now.
Like 6
Yeah,
figures?
like 6 figures for me. Yeah,
Okay.
as soon as
That's not
I
bad,
view,
though.
I view
All
real
right,
money
that's
as
not bad.
like
That's not
when I
bad,
started
though.
making more than my mom did.
Fair.
That was I moved out of the house and I started making more than what my mom did, and it was like, oh, okay, cool. Ended up working at a job for 6 months, got laid off, blew it all, was dead broke, wasn't doing anything, and then ended up learning and then figuring it out.
That's why there's a difference between being broke and being poor. Because being broke just means, okay, you don't have money at the moment. Being poor is like you're mentally broke. That means you might not even obtain anything even later because your mind is broken. Some people they say like, oh, I was broke. It's like, yeah, but you're on the grind, you're hustling. So it's like you're not going to continue to be broke. You're just broke for the moment. I mean, you're not going to continue to be poor. You're just broke.
Afterwards, it's the same thing. Joe Hayden probably did have $1 million in his bank account after his rookie contract was done, and he was like, damn, I had $50 million.
Like context matters because what's the socioeconomic status of the family of the people we're talking about?
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Right? Like, I didn't have to buy my parents' house. I grew up in North Dallas. Mom and pops had a house. My dad had a Mercedes before I had one.
Wow.
You feel me? Like I didn't have to do that. Joe,
Excuses. We need to stop making excuses for people that make stupid financial decisions. Like you can tell Acho, he's like, okay, what's the socioeconomic status of the people we're talking about? It doesn't matter, Even someone who grew up in the poorest area could understand finances. Like, It's like basic economics to try to stay within your means. As your money grows, yeah, you could spend more, but that doesn't mean like I went from getting $100 to $200, so now I'm spending 180. When I had $100, I was spending 30, but now I got $200, I'm going to spend 180. That it's like that doesn't make any sense.
Hayden's probably not in a similar situation. So you can't compare
Yeah.
your socioeconomic status, whoever you are, to that of an athlete who might have had to get it out the mud, who might have grew up, you know what I'm saying, third ward, might have grew up, you know what I'm saying, whatever part. And like they have to take care of themselves and their siblings. And it's almost like the Michael Jackson effect of whoever makes it, save the whole family.
Yeah.
You ain't just make it
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
There's nothing
If
wrong
you
with that.
make it, your brother who you train with, older or younger, hey, save him too. Because
Yeah.
what the hell you look like having made it and your brother's still working for $12 an hour. That's
a good point.
Make that make sense.
Yeah.
And
You know what I
some-
mean?
Exactly. I mean, if you have a gift and you somehow make it, you should elevate people around you. I mean, that's what makes your gift even stronger. It's like what have you done with your gift? If you can elevate people around you, it's just like a person who grows a company. You're growing people around you. So it just makes everything you do more valuable. Like it doesn't make sense if you're making millions of dollars and you have a brother or someone that's scraping by that's willing to work. You know, if they're willing to work, that's one thing. Now, if they're lazy and they don't want to do anything and they don't want to put in any work, then it's different. You know, it's like you want your relatives and friends and people around you who have the drive to try to help grow. You know, it's like, yeah, why not help them flourish? You know, in my view, I think that's why God gave you that gift, is to help others.
Must be like you listen to these players. So I represent players now, and I always say, man, like, what you need the money for? And you know what? Every one of the kids I know, they always say, for their family, for their mom, for their dad. It's never them first. And I'm thinking like when you hear these stories about guys going broke with this and that, like a lot of the money they be spending on is their family.
Yeah.
You know, right now I don't have no real. I got friends, but I don't hang out with friends like I used to. I just have 10, 12 dudes with me everywhere I went. And as I got older, I'm like, yo, I'm wasting money on people that y'all should be taking care of your own self. You know what I'm saying? But you come from like a neighborhood where you're the only one that made it out, and you kind of feel bad. Now, I ain't feel bad, but it's like
There's a
damn,
responsibility.
Yeah, like yo, you my brother. I gotta make sure you solid. Yo, you my cousin that I was with every day. Gotta take care of you.
Yeah.
You know, where like some people don't have that. Cause now I told you about like my other teammates I played with.
Yeah.
Well, shoot, I'm in the NFL, but my best friend, he owns his own company. You get what I mean? It's just different, and people don't understand it. I think a lot of it comes from where you come from and your background.
Yeah.
Because when some people make it, they take care of their parents first, and some people, like you just said, you don't have to buy your mom and dad a house.
Yeah.
Stuff like that matter.
I will jump in here and though say yes, in a way, I'm here to say like I support Joe Hayden through like whatever he's explaining and whatnot. Like I understand his situation. I'm not saying it's not dumb though the way he spent the money. I'm not saying that.
Can't say
Now,
that.
Exactly.
obviously in retrospect you can't. But what I'm saying is
You can say it in the moment.
obviously he didn't know. But I'm sure he could look back now and say, "Oh, that was a dumb way that I spent it," and
me
he
ask you
learns
this.
from it. But
I wouldn't say dumb.
$1 million house.
The only reason I wouldn't say dumb, I would say short-sighted.
Okay,
You know what I mean? I wouldn't say dumb. I would say it was short-sighted.
It was dumb.
Thing is, see, that's why I hate when we be talking about certain stuff. We don't be knowing. Like all his brothers, they all lived in that same crib.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had a big ass house. They mom and pops, and they all was living there too. So I mean, it's not really that dumb. And then you saying it's dumb, but yo, one thing I learned about real estate compared to anything else is that I can actually go there and physically see my investment. I could touch it. I can smell
Absolutely.
it. This ain't no stock market,
Yeah.
none of that. I can go in there and get it. If I do get messed up in the game, I can refinance it, get some money back in my pocket. Or
Yeah.
you know what? I'm gonna sell it. And I guarantee that house he had then, if
Appreciate
he
it
sold
or
it right now, he could make big money on it. So
Absolutely.
when we say dumb,
Due to
it's just like-
inflation.
I'm not saying it's an all in all dumb, but to use over 40% of it immediately is like I'm saying
Exactly.
I'm right there with you on real estate.
It's simple mathematics.
Him building equity by having like a big purchase and whatnot. My thing is, you could have gotten a $800,000 house, took care of them when needs were needing to be met. And then now
My
you're
point.
still managing your money a little bit better.
didn't need-
but that's something that you have to learn.
Yeah,
So I'm not
yeah,
here to say
yeah.
like
That's why I say short sighted.
Yeah,
Now,
short-sighted.
you could
yeah.
say like
I don't want to say he's
You can find nice houses for a portion of what he spent on buying some big old mansion or whatever he bought. I don't know what the house, looks like, but I'm sure the amount of money he was talking about, he overspent. You could have got a nice house, like I said, you could have bought some land and built a house. Sometimes people forget that. It's like, go recruit go hire a contractor, go find a kid going to school to be an architect, and he might have some good designs. You can hire him, have him design you a house, make it a project. It's like there's stuff like that.
dumb
like
for doing
Joe
it. But
ain't
it's,
need, and I went to Joe's crib. Me and Joe were teammates in Cleveland in 12. Like, and Joe's one of my favorite people ever.
Great
Like,
dude,
like,
bro.
Literally one of the greatest people ever. But like, to your point, would he need the roles and the GTC? If you'd ask him now, he'd probably like that. Because he probably, you know what I mean? So I feel you, but when you're 20, 21, and Joe was young in the league, I think.
yeah,
I think
he was,
Joe
bro, he was
I think
3
Joe was
years
20.
of Florida, went to the league. Yeah,
Yeah, Joe's
he
a
might have been
young
younger
bull.
than that, but yeah.
Yeah, Joe's a young bull. Look, you made it this far, so might as well go.
Well, like I said, I think athletes still spend money stupidly, and I think over time they need to find ways to get better. I've heard some athletes in the past that made comments that made it seem like they've started to understand how finance works. But until then, I mean, let me know what you think. Subscribe, leave a comment down below, and if you want to help see the channel grow, donate something.